Hey folks, it's James coming to you from Back Nine Life Studios with this episode of Teed Off, the weekly podcast where I get into the news with no filter, no fluff, and as always, no political affiliations. I've got about, looks like 4 stories for you guys today. It's been a little bit of a rough week for me. A little under the weather. My throat's a little scratchy. It's getting that wintertime. The wintertime, I mean, now that this is out, so we've turned the clocks back again, which I still don't understand why we continue to do that little ritual every year or every spring forward, fall back kind of thing. So it's getting dark way earlier, which is kind of depressing. I can't play golf as much, but during the wintertime, I usually get into the gym more, and I renewed the gym membership, so I will be getting back into the gym, doing those crazy things again. Oh, wintertime. I'm just like a bear. I like to hibernate. So I apologize for the energy being a little low today, but I'll try to step it up a little and see what we can do. All right, number 1. Joe Rogan says he enjoys going to church. That almost seems like an oxymoron to throw Joe Rogan and church into the same sentence, but church is also, it's not a universal thing of, hey, you got to be totally just the greatest person in the world. Because if Joe's going to church, then you know there might be funny wafers going on at communion. I mean, this guy, he bows his head to pray, and he's probably thinking, Jamie, hey, pull up the fight stats on Jesus for me. But I love Joe Rogan. I love his podcast. Sometimes he gets a little too into the conspiracy theories for my taste, but hey, that's his thing. And he's the biggest podcaster in the world, in case you don't know who Joe Rogan is. I love your stand-up, Joe. Joe, if you're watching, do some more stand-up. I used to watch you in the Comedy Store just kill it out in L.A. whenever I lived there. You just killed it. He's a funny guy. He's a martial artist. I mean, the guy can kick your butt in a fight. I mean, and he's just a cool guy. But he has a couple daughters and stuff like that. And so he's a really good guy, too. He's a morally not bankrupt person. So church, if he likes it, cool. I mean, I'm not against church in any sense of the imagination. Does a lot of good at people, and faith in things is a good thing to have. You know, some people say, well, they're misguided. Science says certain things. And well, science is misguided too. I mean, you got the general theory of relativity, which everybody follows and thinks the universe goes around. And then you got quantum physics, which makes general relativity have no sense. Quantum mechanics they're completely different. They're not even compatible. They try to make them compatible in certain ways, but they're not. But yet they're both right. So that just says that we don't have an entire understanding of physics yet. And it could be that way with church. We just don't have an entire understanding of the world that these people believe in. And so who's to say who's right? I mean, science, it's just a religion in itself too. I mean, they always find out that they were wrong about things. I don't mind whatsoever. Church is good for a lot of people. I enjoyed going to church whenever I was a kid for a little while. It was right around my confirmation. I grew up Lutheran. The pastor at the church, we just butted heads for some reason. I was a kid that liked to butt heads with anybody anyway, but she said something about, I asked if we, genuinely asked if we had any questions before we were going to get confirmed. And if you don't know what a confirmation is, it's in like 8th grade. You get confirmed and then you can take communion in the Lutheran church. She asked a genuine question. The pastor said, do you have any doubts about anything having to do with the Bible or anything like that? And I was like, yeah, I do. I just have a hard time believing that Jesus came back, was resurrected. If he was a man, how was he resurrected? And her pretty much answer to my question, even though she asked it, was to belittle me in a sense and say, well, if you don't believe in it, then you can't be a Christian. So I was like, well, that's fine. I don't want to join your club anyway. So I stopped going to church around about that time. And then my aunt, she went to church in St. Louis for a while. And I remember her autistic son, which has pretty bad autism, my cousin, they told my aunt not to bring him back to church anymore because he was too disruptive. So, hey, that's very Christian of them. To just say, hey, you can't bring that autistic kid into our church. Piss on you then. So, organized religion kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes. Do I believe in God? Yeah, I believe there's some sort of higher power out there. The universe is just too big not to have some thing. Now, is that going to be a god of sorts or energy of sorts? It could be anything. I honestly think that the infallibility of God is going to come from human beings, and may have already came from human beings. They have the theory that, we're not the first humans to occupy this planet, because what humans actually do is they build things into the point where they can destroy themselves. And then it's almost like they will destroy themselves because they have became almost an infallible sort of thing. And they will destroy themselves because we're ultimately a sinful bunch. And then it starts all over again. Do I believe that? I believe that as much as any other religion, science. Number 2, Obama takes aim at Trump, White House, while campaigning for Spam Burger. That's the lady running for governor. I think it's in New Jersey. And Obama's back on the trail. He's back pounding it. And he's getting after Trump. And back to roast Trump is just, it's showing you the ex-presidents they're just influencers with better pensions. What it could be going on. And Trump's really got to watch this. The people that are really for Trump right now and everything are talking about, we'll get him into a third term. We will get it back to the point where we'll elect him for a third term. Well, if you're going to put let people go back and get elected for a third term, you got to watch Obama running again. And I think Obama could probably beat Trump. He's just a lot more well-spoken. Trump cannot rattle this lawyer like he can other politicians. You got to realize Obama, everybody talks about how great he was and everything. Obama, he's shrewd, man. He came out of that Illinois political system. You had what, 4 governors in Illinois that have been to prison before? Obama came out of this same corrupt system in Illinois, and he shined. You can't believe he was the only squeaky clean one coming out of that system. Give me a break. The Chicago political system, he rose to the top of that? Come on. Give me a break. You think that Obama's not as dirty as the rest of them. He just has better handlers. Now, I'm not for Obama. I don't think he was a good president. I don't think Trump is a good president. I don't think there's been a good president for a long time, because they keep taking us down a route long term that is not good. And that's just the way I see it. So that's why I don't have a political affiliation. I just have seen since my life started that our politicians are just so short-minded in their thinking that they just keep spending money and money and money that does not belong to them. It belongs to future generations. And they all say how great they are and how they care about the children and everything else. Well, if you care about the children, stop spending their future finances. At some point, we're going to have a generation responsible, and politicians that become responsible for what politicians before them have done. So yeah, if you think that, and I'm like, of course, I know the argument, Trump spent more money than Obama, and da 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 da. Yeah, but whatever. They spend more than they make, and that's okay whenever you're in a growth period. But then you pay it off. If you got a ton of debt on your household balance sheet, then you don't just keep running it up, because eventually creditors will cut you off. At some point, you got to get responsible and get it back down a little bit, and then you can get more credit. But that's not the case in Washington. We don't slow down. At least we haven't slowed down my entire life. And a lot of people will say, well, I pay taxes. Yes, tax dollars are meant to be given to some things, but we spend tax dollars on a lot more. And not only that, we got a lot of people who have 100% income from tax dollars who get taxed, and they say, well, we pay taxes. I was like, yeah, but the problem is you get paid 100% of your income from taxes and then only give back the percentage of whatever tax bracket you're in. So you see, that's a net loss. That's the problem. Is my grandmother was a math teacher, and I understand math. I really get how it works. I wish I didn't. I wish I could go back in the Matrix and just remember how good a steak tasted and stuff like that. But yeah, unfortunately, I learned math early, and the math in Washington, D.C. doesn't work. But Obama, yep, he's campaigning, and this could get funky. I don't think we would be able to get anybody into a third term then, unless we have a crisis, though. We'll need some sort of World War III or something like that for them to justify the American public saying, you know what, we need another term from some of these guys. And they wouldn't help it anyway. Coca-Cola to bring back the fan favorite after years. That fan favorite is Diet Cherry Coke. Some people loved Diet Cherry Coke. I've never even been a Cherry Coke fan. It's too sweet for me. I grew up with Coke. My mother drinks Coke. I mean, I have not seen my mother drink water, I think, in 45 years of life. I really don't think I've ever seen her drink water, but I have seen her drink Cokes like they are going out of style. And I grew up loving Cokes too. My brother loves Cokes. I don't know if my sister does, but my sister was a little weirder than the rest of us because she was the baby of the family. So she didn't grow up in the trailer park in the on the wrong side of the tracks like we did. Although my parents' house now is still on the same side of the railroad tracks as the trailer park that we grew up in. But we loved Cokes. Now bringing this back, man, hey, nothing says innovation like bringing back something that you've already made before. Did you know that Coca-Cola, on average, I mean, they don't give exact cost in their quarterly reports or anything because it could all tie in, but their advertising and marketing dollars, like it could tie into like sponsorships and digital affiliations, stuff like that. So there's not a real exact number, but the consensus average is $4 billion per year that Coca-Cola spends on advertising and marketing worldwide. That is amazing. That is a lot of money. And that's really got to make you understand that all the entertainment you see, like the news or anything else, if you see a Coke commercial, that is how much money they are pumping into this system. Advertising dollars are so huge. I wanted to know who the biggest advertiser was, and it didn't surprise me. It is Amazon. They spend $20 billion per year on advertising and marketing. Now, Amazon makes something like $150 billion a quarter, but man, do they spend money too. They've only got a profit margin, I think, of like 2 to 3%. And really their web services, their servers, whatever that's called that they do, what is their cloud? I can't even remember the name of it. If you remember the name, let me know. But it pays for pretty much everything. They really don't even make any money off the retail side of their business. So the stuff that you buy from Amazon, they don't even make money off of it. They make a huge profit on their cloud business. But man, that's a lot of money, $20 billion for a year's worth of marketing. That just goes to show you how big the advertising space is, and YouTube, everybody else chasing all that money. And I can just see why. I mean, you're talking hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of $1 billion, probably trillion. It's a guarantee you it's $1 trillion a year in marketing. And Coke is doing that much. So you can imagine how much Coke gets sold if they can afford $4 billion a year just to advertise it. A lot of Coke. That is a lot of Coke. A lot of rotten teeth. A lot of kidney problems going on with that. Number 4, free meal, and I can feel my throat getting scratchy. I don't know if it can be heard yet, but throat is scratchy. Got a little cat hair in my throat or something. Meow. Where's that cat? He's from the Back 9 building videos. Free meal is motivating 1 in 3 singles to say yes to date. Love is blind, it seems, but it does not go hungry. There's always been a certain amount of scamming that goes on with dating anyway. And yeah, I bet you believe me, my trust of people is very low, which is why I'm really not trying to date too much right now, is because I realize I'm not even giving too many people a chance. Of course, this is one study, so it could be wrong, it could be whatever, but you do see this. They had interviews with girls and guys that said, I would go on dates for just a meal. And it's going to show that some of these guys are just scared to go hungry too. If we don't have the SNAP program, which I talked about, going on, some of them may need to have a date and get fed. But if they're ordering the steak and you're looking for love, if they're ordering the steak, then they're not looking for love from you. They are looking for leftovers is what they're doing. They're bagging up rolls and everything else. So if you're dating, just, be careful. Don't give anybody your full heart or anything like that if they are just squeezing you for something. If you want to get into somebody's heart, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay. And it's always been that way. It's always been a form of legal prostitution, the dating scene in itself. So that's it. That's all I'm doing. Like I said, my throat's scratchy. Let me know about the beard. Do you like the beard? I usually do a bigger beard in the winter. I don't know. It's already starting to scratch me too. I don't know. I might get rid of it. All right. So there we go. We'll pump this out. We're going to have the sun going down at about 4:30 tomorrow. Oh, good. So depressing to me. Let me know. Do you like wintertime? I lived in LA for 10 years and I never really saw seasons change, and I realized how much time passes. So by seasons changing, it does kind of slow and make me see life a little bit more. But man, I hate the winter. I'm a golfer. I do not like winters. Hit like, hit subscribe, share it with some people. Do the thing. Do the thing this week. And I will see you guys next week, next Sunday. Take care.